Not long ago, Netflix released one of the most anticipated Hispanic literary adaptations in recent years, 100 Years of Solitude. The series has hit the small screen to critical acclaim. While many of us have already read the book and know all about the complex saga of the Buendía family, others might still find it a bit confusing, or simply want to clear things up. That's why, in this video, we'll break down the entire Buendía family tree, from the first generation with Úrsula and José Arcadio to the very last member of this iconic family. The Buendía family tree starts with the union of José Arcadio Buendía and Úrsula Iguarán. José Arcadio and Úrsula fell deeply in love at a young age and decided to marry. But there was a small catch in their relationship. José Arcadio and Úrsula were second cousins. Back then, there was a strong superstition that children from relationships between relatives could be born with deformities, most famously, the notorious pig's tail. This superstition terrified Úrsula and delayed the birth of the family's firstborn. Eventually, however, the couple consummated their marriage, giving birth to the first generation of the Buendía family: José Arcadio, Aureliano, Amaranta, and Rebecca, though Rebecca was not biologically their daughter. José Arcadio, the couple's eldest child, had an illegitimate son with Pilar Ternera, a clairvoyant and friend of Úrsula. This affair resulted in the first member of the Buendía family's second generation, José Arcadio, who they decided to call Arcadio to avoid confusion. Aureliano, better known as Colonel Aureliano Buendía, also had an illegitimate child with Pilar Ternera. Later, he married Remedios Moscote, Macondo's magistrate's youngest daughter. Aureliano fell madly in love with her as a child and had to wait until she came of age. Shortly after their marriage, Remedios became pregnant with twins, but tragically, both she and the babies died. This loss plunged Aureliano into deep sorrow and drove him to lead a war. During his years as a colonel, Aureliano fathered 17 children with different women, but none survived to continue the family line. They were all hunted down and killed. Rebecca arrived at the Buendía household as an orphaned child, with a letter identifying her as a distant relative of Úrsula. So the couple adopted her as their daughter. She fell deeply in love with Pietro Crespi, a refined Italian who came to Macondo to install its first pianola. Although they got engaged, the wedding never happened due to complications. Later, Rebecca married José Arcadio, her adoptive brother, but the two didn't have any children. Amaranta, the youngest Buendía, also didn't have any children. At first, she fell in love with Pietro Crespi, but he didn't return her feelings because he was in love with her sister, Rebecca. After Rebecca and Pietro broke off their engagement, Pietro tried to win over Amaranta. Secretly, she loved him too, but her pride and fear of commitment led her to reject him repeatedly. Heartbroken, Pietro ended his own life. Amaranta decided she would never marry, devoting herself instead to helping raise the next generations. The third generation of the Buendía family began with Arcadio, the son of José Arcadio and Pilar Ternera. Arcadio married Santa Sofía de la Piedad, a humble, hard-working, and devoted woman who played a key role in the family. Arcadio met Santa Sofía de la Piedad thanks to the influence of Pilar Ternera, his biological mother. Unaware that Pilar was his mother, Arcadio became attracted to her. To prevent an incestuous relationship, Pilar arranged for Santa Sofía de la Piedad, a shopkeeper's daughter, to become Arcadio's lover. This orchestrated encounter led to Santa Sofía and Arcadio starting a relationship, which resulted in 3 children: Remedios the Beauty, José Arcadio II, and Aureliano II. Aureliano José, the illegitimate son of Aureliano and Pilar Ternera, was raised by his aunt, Amaranta Buendía, alongside her other nieces and nephews. As he grew up, Aureliano José fell in love with Amaranta. Aware of how inappropriate his feelings were, she rejected him, leading Aureliano José to distance himself and join his father's revolutionary forces. When he returned to Macondo, Aureliano José tried to rekindle his relationship with Amaranta, but she kept rejecting him. Seeking comfort, he often visited Pilar Ternera, his mother. Hoping to ease his loneliness, Pilar introduced him to Carmelita Montiel, a young woman from the town. The two fell in love and shared a brief romance until Aureliano José's death, leaving no descendants. The fourth generation of the Buendía family started with Aureliano II, Arcadio's son, and Fernanda del Carpio. Fernanda came to Macondo after winning a beauty contest in a nearby town, where she met Aureliano II. Despite their stark differences, Fernanda was strict, authoritarian, and deeply religious, while Aureliano was cheerful, carefree, and indulgent. They got married and had 3 children: Renata Remedios, better known as Mimi, José Arcadio, and Amaranta Úrsula. José Arcadio II had a brief affair with Petra Coates, who was also Aureliano II's lover. However, his relationship with Petra didn't last, and José Arcadio II remained childless until his death. Remedios the Beauty, Arcadio and Santa Sofía de la Piedad's eldest daughter, neither married nor had children, despite being one of the most beautiful and enigmatic characters in the story. The fifth and final generation of the Buendía family began with Aureliano Babilonia, the illegitimate son of Renata Remedios, Meme, and Mauricio Babilonia. Mame, raised under the strict and aristocratic rules of Fernanda, developed a dual personality: obedient and submissive toward her mother, but cheerful, rebellious, and free-spirited outside of Fernanda's control. Mauricio Babilonia, a young worker at the banana company, was simple, brave, and constantly surrounded by mysterious yellow butterflies. Renata Remedios and Mauricio kept their relationship a secret, especially from Fernanda, who would never accept her daughter dating someone she considered beneath her. Fernanda discovered Meme and Mauricio's romance, which enraged her. One night, Mauricio snuck into the Buendía house to meet Meme, but a guard hired by Fernanda shot him. The bullet paralyzed Mauricio, ending any chance of him continuing his relationship with Meme. After the incident, Fernanda sent Meme to a convent in a distant city, cutting off all contact between her and the family. However, before they were separated, Meme became pregnant with Mauricio's child. Fernanda hid the child's birth, named him Aureliano Babilonia, and sent him away to be secretly raised by others. He grew up unaware of his true origins, though it was clear he was a Buendía. Meanwhile, José Arcadio, Fernanda, and Aureliano II's son, neither married nor had children. Fernanda sent him to Rome to study, intending for him to become a priest, even though it wasn't what he wanted. Years later, after Fernanda's death, José Arcadio abandoned his priestly training and returned to Macondo. There, he found a chest of gold his mother had hidden, which briefly obsessed him. But instead of giving him purpose, the gold became a hollow symbol of wealth, unable to change his fate. José Arcadio was murdered before he had the chance to have children, or even fall in love. Amaranta Úrsula, Fernanda and Aureliano II's youngest daughter, married Gaston, a sophisticated European man she met while studying abroad. After their marriage, they returned to Macondo, driven by Amaranta Úrsula's enthusiasm to restore the Buendía family home. Over time, Gaston grew distant and uninterested in their relationship. In Gaston's emotional absence, Amaranta Úrsula grew close to Aureliano Babilonia, the last of the Buendías, who had grown up isolated in Macondo. Though he was her nephew, Amaranta Úrsula and Aureliano fell deeply in love. Amaranta Úrsula became pregnant with Aureliano's child, but complications during childbirth led to her death. She gave birth to a baby with a pig's tail, the last Aureliano of the Buendía family and the ultimate fulfillment of the family's curse. Let me know in the comments what other topics you'd like to see covered on the channel, and remember, if you enjoy this type of video, the best way to support me is by leaving a like, subscribing, and turning on the notification bell. See you in the next video.